Hey, what's happening, guys? Good morning, everybody. You guys have tuned into Rules for Rebels. Today is Friday, April 14th, 2023. Sorry I missed you guys yesterday, Thursday. I had mentioned earlier in the week, we're going to be going to a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule as opposed to a 5-day-a-week schedule. It's been kind of tough to keep up with. The weather's been beautiful lately, even here in Chicago. 83 degrees yesterday. We actually have a spring the past few years, actually the past many years. It seems like we go from wintertime straight into summertime. We don't really get that spring season, so it's kind of nice having that 60s, 70s weather, even though it was 80 yesterday. Staying light out later, so at the end of the day, I can go to the gym and then go for a bike ride later, staying light enough out to grill and things like that. So I've been enjoying the weather. I've been wanting to spend a little bit less time on the computer. And like I said, I got a kickball league. I got a volleyball league. I'm going to be doing some traveling this summer. So I wanted to come up with a schedule that would be a little bit easier to keep up with. So we will continue doing the videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I may roll back out Side Hustle Tuesdays. And I do want to get kind of more into some actionable make money online, SEO, digital marketing, Shopify type content. We are going to be talking a little bit about YouTube today and a new way that you can make money on YouTube. I've talked about this recently, the all-new YouTube product tagging feature, which right now is a pilot program or a beta testing program. I believe on June 1st, YouTube is basically going to decide whether to keep this and roll this out to the wider audience. I have a number of different YouTube channels, but on a couple of my channels, I do have this product tagging feature, and we will be talking a little bit more about that. We'll be talking about how markets closed yesterday. Dow finished up, markets finished up. We'll get into that. Crypto is up big on a big on a 7-day chart, but also big on a 24-hour chart. Ethereum up over 6% overnight. We're going to be talking about a Reuters article, how the U.S. economy is losing momentum, and we're kind of seeing this even with discount retailers like Walmart and Aldi shutting down stores. That's a bad sign, right? It's one thing if Lululemon shuts down stores, right? That tells us that the economy is not too great. People aren't looking to buy $80 swim trunks or $120 yoga pants. When stores like Walmart and Aldi are shutting down, that's a bad sign. We're also hearing more talk about how the economy is turning from an economy of wants, where people are buying just random things they want, to buying things that they need, right? People are only buying necessities. And I saw a video from the Economic Ninja the other day. I'm not sure where he got this data or how credible this is, but I do enjoy his channel, and he's not a clickbaity kind of guy. He somehow got some meeting minutes from an internal high-up Amazon executive meeting. This wasn't like a company-wide meeting. This was higher-ups at Amazon, and they're concerned that people are buying gold and silver. They're concerned that people are cutting back on I guess for lack of a better word, leisure purchases, right? They're concerned that people's buying behavior is turning to wants, or turning from needs to wants, because most of the things people buy off Amazon are not things anybody needs. It's just kind of random crap that people want. And Amazon is really good at kind of showing you products that might appeal to you. And with the one-click checkout, not having to put in your credit card number, you don't really think about the purchases that you're going to make. We got a chief economist at LPL Financial in Charlotte who says consumers are retrenching during a time of uncertainty, and the risk of a recession is gaining. So a lot of stuff to talk about in today's video. Before we get into this, a couple housekeeping things. Wanted to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Lodge Cookware. Lodge is probably best known for their cast iron pans. I got a Lodge cast iron pan as a gift this past Christmas. It was 2 Christmases ago. That has been my absolute best favorite item. I was going to say my favorite purchase, although I didn't purchase it. It was purchased for me. But that has been my favorite purchase over the past 2 years. Not only does cooking with cast iron not put forever chemicals and Teflon into your food, which is incredibly unhealthy for you, bad for your fertility, and just bad all around for you and the environment. Not only does it not put those things into your food, but it can give your food a nice crust. I love that I can cook something on the stove, brown it, and then throw it into the oven. I'd previously heard people say, oh, cast iron, it's a headache to take care of. Not that hard at all. Things don't really stick to it. It's easy to clean, and if you want to keep it from rusting, it's very easy. Rub it with some oil. They call that seasoning your pan. Really not a whole lot of maintenance, and I cook pretty much exclusively in this Lodge cast iron pan, and I actually recently picked up a Dutch oven. You guys have probably heard me talking about how I've been getting into kind of baking bread lately. I used to just kind of bake it in the oven on an oven tray, but I was watching some YouTube videos, reading a little bit more about how to get a softer crust, and what I saw people doing, you heat up your Dutch oven in the oven for about 30 minutes, and then you put your bread into the hot Dutch oven, put it back into the stove, cook it for 30 minutes, and in the last 15 minutes, you cook it for another 15 with the top off, and that allows your bread to kind of crust. But I've been loving this Lodge cookware, and I'm going to link it down below to a Lodge 12-inch cast iron pan. Not only does it make delicious food, not only does it not put forever chemicals into your food, but also you got a home intruder. You could definitely take somebody out with this pan as well. They're pretty heavy, but check them out. Link in the description box below. Let's talk about the markets yesterday. The Dow finished up 383 points. The NASDAQ finished up 1.22%. S&P 500 finished up 1.33%. When you look at the S&P 500 over the past couple months and even the past year, most companies are down. It's only like a handful of 8 or 10 companies who are kind of propping up the S&P 500. And the only stocks that I'm really interested in right now are the some of the high dividend ETFs. Some of the covered call ETFs, things like JEPI, as well as some other dividend ETF funds and some of the dividend king stocks. And those things are holding up pretty well. I think we're probably going to have, definitely this year, but potentially even a couple years of either a steady market downturn or at least trading sideways. And dividends are a great way to at least keep some money coming in or continue to increase your positions in some of these stocks. Let's talk about cryptos. Most major cryptos up over 10%, 10%, 13%, 15% on the 7-day chart. On a 24-hour chart, Ethereum is up over 6%. Currently, Bitcoin sitting at 30,809. Looks like Bitcoin is holding strong above that 30,000 mark and likely will be crossing over 31,000 maybe this weekend. We got Ethereum, which had been hovering around 1,800. Ethereum now trading at $2,114. And BNB hasn't really seen the big surge that a lot of these other coins have. BNB currently sitting at, still holding over 300, but it's only sitting at about 333. It didn't really get the run up that Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, and a lot of other coins have been getting. I don't keep up with the crypto market as much as I used to. So if there's any big crypto stories that I've missed, feel free to fill me in the comment section below. We got a Reuters article. The U.S. economy is losing momentum as retail sales post the biggest drop in 12 months. We also have manufacturing dropping at the biggest rate in the past 2 years. And Reuters, that's what it is. Reuters claims that this will cause the Fed to scale back rate hikes. Although we did recently learn from the recent Fed meeting minutes that the bank collapse, had it not happened, they would have done a larger rate hike. The only reason they did the 25 basis point rate hike as opposed to a 50 or potentially even higher is because of the run on the banks and the bank collapse. Had that not happened, we would have seen a bigger rate hike. For the past year, if not longer, most people as well as the markets, they want to fight the Fed. They don't believe what the Fed is saying, and people still seem to believe that a Fed pivot is around the corner. I'm pretty certain that the Fed is not only going to continue to raise rates, but is going to maintain these rates higher for even longer, likely through 2024. So I don't know why everybody thinks that a Fed pivot is imminent or that rates are going to start being cut in 2023. In that same article, we got a chief economist at LPL Financial in Charlotte, Jeffrey Roach, said consumers are likely retrenching during a time of uncertainty. The trajectory for the economy is weakening and the recession risks are rising. In recent weeks, we've talked about how shipping ports have been dead, truck shipments have been slow, and now we're learning that rail volume continues to decline. I'd kind of touched on this in the lead up to this video, but the Economic Ninja made a video yesterday. It's going to be a 2-part video. I don't believe the second part is out yet. If you haven't checked out the Economic Ninja's channel, check him out. If I remember to do so, I'll try to drop the link to this video in the description box below. But the Economic Ninja said he had acquired some insider information from Amazon. And again, this wasn't just a big company-wide meeting. This was high-up executives. They were worried that people are hoarding money. They're worried that people are buying in gold and silver. And they're worried that people are losing faith in the system. The economy of, they went on to say the economy of wants has turned into an economy of need. So people aren't buying discretionary items they don't need. People are really only focusing on things that they absolutely need. And that's what the Fed wants, right? Inflation has been out of control for a while. A lot of people have been struggling, but the people who have been struggling the most are the lowest earners out there, the people on the lowest rungs of the economic ladder. And the Fed wants to bring that pain to definitely middle America and the middle class, but even the upper middle class. The Fed needs people to stop spending to tame demand and tame inflation. And we're not near that point yet, right? Like most people are still spending. And we've kind of talked about the trend of Walmart, Aldi, and other discount grocers and retailers are closing. That kind of shows that people are finally starting to run out of money. I think J.P. Morgan said most Americans are going to run out of money about midsummer. And who is it? I think Goldman Sachs said by the end of summer. So we're quickly approaching summer, but it seems like Americans are now finally starting to run out of money. We have 39% of Americans saying they've skipped meals to make housing payments. The whole Anheuser-Busch story continues to get weirder and weirder. That's kind of the Bud Light Dylan Mulvaney story. Anheuser-Busch has lost $6 billion in 6 days after their ad campaign where they put a trans TikTok activist, Dylan Mulvaney, on their cans. A lot of people said this is a prime example of a brand not knowing their audience, right? Like Bud Light and kind of Budweiser, but the whole Bud beer brand is a very blue collar, very patriotic, very masculine, very kind of American brand. And it's just not really a brand where having a TikTok trans activist star is necessarily going to go over well. Well, now Anheuser-Busch is trying to do damage control. They're saying that executives never approved this campaign and that it was done by low-level staffers in a marketing agency. But the VP of marketing is the one who went on and doubled down and spoke about how Bud is a dying brand. They need younger people. They need to be more inclusive. And during this week that Bud Light has lost $6 billion in value, Molson Coors has actually added $350 million in the last week. And the VP of marketing at Bud Light, Lisa Hirschchild, again doubled down. She basically called Bud Light customers idiot, frat boy, binge drinkers, and rednecks, and they want to get a younger, more inclusive audience. It's really kind of weird that they're saying, low-level employees did this, nobody knew about this, but we have the VP of marketing who is kind of touting what a wonderful ad campaign this was. We'll see if this winds up actually hurting the brand or if this winds up getting forgotten about. And I think one thing a lot of people don't realize is that most of the beer brands are owned by a handful of companies, right? So even if you think, I'm not going to drink Bud Light, I'm going to go drink this other brand, there's a very good chance that that other brand is also owned by Bud Light. But I think Coors is going to come out the big winner here. Coors for a long, Bud Light has kind of always appealed to, they got talking dogs and hot girls, and in the 90s that worked. In 2023, I don't think that necessarily works. And Coors Light for a long time has been, taste the Rockies, people drinking Coors Light while out on a hike. They've just done a much better job of kind of building a brand image that kind of resonates with people here in 2023. And I had another thought. Bud Light is piss beer. I kind of hate all Bud. I'm not a big drinker to begin with, but I kind of hate all Bud products. And I get you have this long-running iconic brand, and it would be kind of a shame to shut it down. But if you can't transition it, would it be the worst thing in the world to end the brand of Bud Light and come out with a new brand? And one kind of example I have of this, I see a lot of people drinking this Starry soda, like STARRY. I believe it's replaced Sierra Mist. Obviously, Sierra Mist is a relatively new drink, hasn't been around nearly as long as Bud Light. But, we see an example of success in kind of killing off one brand and coming out with something fresher. And people seem to be excited about Starry. Like, what's this Starry drink? There's a lot of talk online. Did Starry replace Sprite? No, Starry actually replaced Sierra Mist, but if Bud Light kind of can't turn around this brand image, or if this whole trans activist TikTok star is the end of Bud Light, maybe they can just kind of start from scratch and create a new brand. We got another article from TechCrunch. Redfin lays off more workers as the real estate downturn persists. This is actually the third round of layoffs for Seattle-based Redfin. And real estate is a huge part of our economy. Think about how many people work in real estate. Not only kind of the ancillary things, like when somebody buys a new home, they're having to shop at Home Depot or Lowe's. When somebody buys a new home, they're hiring a contractor to put in a new backsplash. They're hiring a landscaping company to clean up the yard. Even all that stuff aside, real estate, we got realtors, we got mortgage brokers, we got bankers, we got people who work at title companies and closing offices. Real estate is a huge industry that employs a lot of people. And what do we see right now? I've talked about in a lot of recent videos how when I search my city, up to $500,000, single family and multifamily homes, some Some days I might see 2 properties, some days I might see 6 properties, but there's never really more than 4, 5, 6 properties. And a lot of these properties coming on the market, it seems like most of the time new listings come on the market Friday because people can tour those homes over the weekend. When I see new homes pop up on the market, it's oftentimes not even a new home. Most of the quote-unquote new homes I see hitting the MLS are actually homes that have been listed 1, 2, 3, even 4 times before. They list it, it doesn't sell, they pull it off, they list it again so that they pop up at the top as a new listing. So most of these homes aren't even new homes. The real estate market is at a standstill. Sellers don't want to sell, buyers don't want to buy, and if there's no transactions happening, there's no work for these people. And what does that mean? That means we're going to have a lot of layoffs hitting mortgage brokers, hitting the real estate industry, hitting title companies, closing offices, etc. We got Restoration Hardware is laying off 440 people. Apparently people in this economy don't have money or aren't willing to buy $10,000 couches. That is somewhat surprising, just because like the very, very wealthy seem to be doing fine, and those are often the people who shop at Restoration Hardware. But yeah, even Restoration Hardware is laying off people. And I guess if people aren't buying homes, they don't necessarily need to buy new furniture for a new home. In Q1, biotech layoffs have risen 87% year over year compared to this time last year. And it started off as, the layoffs are only in the real estate industry. The layoffs are only in the tech industry and social media companies. We're now even beginning to hear of public sector layoffs. So EMTs are being laid off in some cities. School workers, social workers are being laid off. Hospital workers. First businesses suffer, then the tax revenue in these cities go down, and then come the public sector layoffs, the government layoffs, which, ultimately I'm kind of a Ron Swanson kind of guy. I would like to see a lot more government layoffs. And speaking of government agencies and government workers, Reuters article, the White House asks agencies to step up the return to offices. The White House on Thursday asked federal agencies to revise workforce plans as it aims to substantially increase in-person work by government employees at headquarters, offices, and to improve services, according to a memo seen by Reuters. We need to get people back into the office or realign our property holdings, i.e. giving offices to local communities or nonprofits. They went on to say remote work has caused Americans to deal with long wait times and subpar service for government services. And government services have always had long wait times and, poor quality service, poor customer service, but apparently it's even worse with people working from home. Business Insider had an article, companies are beginning to cut bonuses of employees who refuse to return to the office. We've seen this going on back in 2021. It was like, hey guys, please come back into the office. Later in 2021, it was like, hey guys, we're gonna have massages and pizza parties, come on back into the office. Then it was, hey guys, we're serious, we really need you to come back into the office. We really mean business this time. But there was still really no enforcement. Well, now companies are beginning to either lay people off or cut bonuses or cut pay for people who refuse to come back into the office. We got another article about returning to the office. JP Morgan ends remote work for senior bankers and executives and wants them back into the office 5 days per week. I imagine it's probably hard to tell lower level employees to come back into the office because collaboration and FaceTime and in-person, working together is a superior form of working. It's hard to say that when your executives and senior bankers aren't in the offices. So now JP Morgan is insisting executives and senior bankers come back into the office 5 days a week. Starbucks, Disney, and Amazon employees have all signed petitions saying they don't want to come back into the office, and a battle is brewing at those companies, but the employers, those companies, Starbucks, Disney, and Amazon, is saying, no, we're not going to listen to your petition. You need to be back into the office. We also have Cigna. Cigna, what are they? In insurance, healthcare. They're insisting employees come back into the office. They're currently at about 90% of employees who are remote, but they want to bring everybody back into the office. We have NPR and PBS have quit Twitter after Elon Musk and Twitter labeled them state-affiliated media. I would say most of the media is state-affiliated media. We had talked the other day about the Cash App founder, Bob Lee, how he was stabbed to death in San Francisco, and that kind of kicked off a big conversation about what a dump San Francisco is, how out of control the crime is. And even though those things are true, San Francisco is a dump, crime is out of control in San Francisco. It turns out this wasn't a random attack or a random stabbing. Police say that it's neither a robbery nor a random attack. The stabbing was done by a guy named Momeni, who's the owner of a company called Expand IT. So it seems like this was some kind of personal beef. I haven't really been following the story about the Pentagon documents being leaked. Apparently, a bunch of Pentagon documents were leaked about the U.S. spying on Russia and Ukraine. Turns out the leaker was a 21-year-old National Guardsman, and he was just arrested the other day. And then last story of the day, this one comes to us from The Hedge. A UK study finds that there is no evidence, quote-unquote, no evidence, that face masks protect the vulnerable against the Mexican beer cough. A report published by the UK Health Security Agency, the UK HSA, said that virtually no high-quality trials showed that masks prevented infection. And Professor Carl Hennigan, a professor of evidence-based medicine at Oxford, said, "I do not understand why there's been a lack of will to do high-quality studies and trials." Right? It's kind of nice that finally, 3 years later, they tell us that that those 2 years of walking around in masks, when you stand up in a restaurant, you have to put it on. When you're sitting down, you can take it off. Walking in grocery stores through a certain thing, walking down aisles a certain way, wearing your mask, wearing it at the hospital, having to choke on planes, people sitting in office cubicles wearing masks, doing manual labor, wearing masks, sweating and breathing heavy under these masks. All of this was for naught because, there's no studies that show they have any effect whatsoever. Nice that we learned that 3 years later. But that is the last story of the day. Definitely visit the sponsor, Lodge Cast Iron Pans. I'm going to link to one of their 12-inch cast iron pans in the description box below. If you guys enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. As always, I would love to hear your thoughts, comments, and opinions on anything and everything we've discussed in today's video, so we'll drop those down below. And if you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, click that subscribe button down below and ring the bell. I just realized I think I forgot to kind of talk about the YouTube product tagging, so I'll try to put out I'm heading out of town on Monday, early morning, so you guys may not, I'll try to get out a video from Monday. You guys probably won't see me Wednesday, but I'll try to put out a video over the weekend or maybe early next week talking about this new YouTube product tagging feature, showing you guys how to do it, what it looks like on the back end, and how those earnings are going to compare it to the Amazon affiliate program if you guys are using that. So that's all I got for you guys. I'll catch you on Monday's video. Later, guys. Peace. I'm out.